You could have heard a story about the missing Indian chef Menaria Mukesh, which attracted a lot of media attention from Uganda, India and beyond. Chef Menaria was allegedly kidnapped from the PRO Industries in Luwero that is owned by his bosses, that is Mutukula Oswal, and they have a residence plus an ethanol plant in that very area. But about a week ago, the police went to the PRO Industries to search for Chef Menaria after it was reported that he had been confined in a room where he was being tortured by his bosses. However, when police reached the residence, they failed to find Chef Menaria and he was whisked away to Tanzania through the Mutukula border, and he was arrested about 4 days later by the Tanzanian authorities. The latest that we have from the chef's family is that he was transported by the Tanzanian authorities from Mshaka border, that is near the Mutukula border between Uganda and Tanzania, to Salaam, and he took a painstaking journey of over 1,000 kilometers. Formerly, the family of Chef Menaria had hinted that his boss was planning to slap charges of theft against him, of which that theft was allegedly committed in December last year. And also they claim that at that time the chef was not in Tanzania. And upon arriving in Dar es Salaam, that is on Monday, Chef Menaria found his bosses waiting for him. That is Mutukula Oswal and Radhika Oswal. And immediately they engaged in a discussion on how they can come up with an agreement in order to drop charges against their daughter Vasundhara Oswal, who has been on remand for about a week at Nakasongola prison. She was charged with kidnap with intent to kill. Chef Menaria and his son Vishnu Menaria all accepted to drop charges against their daughter, and in the affidavit that NTV has managed to have access to, they both agreed that actually Chef Menaria has been an employee of this very family since 2017, and later on, almost about 4 months ago, they developed some disagreements within, and that led to Chef Menaria to ask his boss so that he can be relieved of his duties and go to India, which his boss refused, and that is where the feud started. In the affidavit, Chef Menaria saw and accepted that he went to Tanzania at his own will, and also traveled to Dar es Salaam at his own will, and that he had never been kidnapped by this very family that is accused, that have a case here in Uganda to answer, and then also went ahead to accept that the moment they agree that actually they are going to do away with the charges against their daughter, that is Vasundhara Oswal, then that has to be respected, and the family of Chef Menaria must put in effort to ensure that they come back to Uganda and see that they use whatever means to convince the authorities here so that they can release their daughter. It was agreed that the chef's son, Vishnu Menaria, should travel to Uganda and convince the responsible authorities, that is Interpol and the courts, to ensure that they drop the charges against their daughter. Vishnu arrived in Uganda yesterday. The chef's boss, Mutukula Oswal, in the affidavit also hinted that Chef Menaria, why they fell out was the fact that he was being accused of misappropriating some of the resources in the home, theft of the jewelry which belongs to the wife, plus leaking the trade secrets of the family. The lawyers of Mutukula Oswal today met with Vishnu Menaria, that is the son of the chef, and tried to discuss with him on how they are supposed to be going about the processes of having their daughter released. It's not clear how far they'll go with it, because the daughter is expected in court, that is Luwero Magistrates Court, on the 28th of October, and it is from this very day that the court will decide as to whether they refer the case to the High Court, because the Luwero Magistrates Court has no jurisdiction of entertaining a case of that nature. It is also not clear as to when Chef Menaria will be brought to Uganda to finalize the processes and whether that will happen or not. However, on the side of police, they have been waiting for that very time when the Tanzanian authorities inform them that they are done with their investigations, or they have concluded with a case of theft that was opened against him. So that is extradited to Uganda to testify against his alleged kidnappers. Sudil Biarhanga, NTV, Kampala.